All right, welcome to the Avalanche 322RL, stock number 42451. I'll be walking you through everything, showing you how it all works. So we'll start down here. In this little bay here, this is your hydraulic pump supplying hydraulic fluid to your jacks and slide outs. Just want to make sure that that reservoir has fluid in it, and then check for leaks every once in a while. Usually these fittings kind of get loose when you're driving down the road, so just make sure those are on there nice and tight. If you see any leaks, tighten them down. Then back in here, that's your inverter. Your inverter converts battery power from 12 volt over to 120 volts so that you can power your residential fridge while you're driving down the road. That top switch right there is your inverter cutoff switch. So when that is in the green position, the inverter is on. Well, there's power going to the inverter, and then when it's in the red position, there's no power going to the inverter. And then you have another red dial down there. That's your battery disconnect. So twisting that to the off section is going to cut the power off to the batteries, and then you'll twist it to the on to run power from the batteries to the unit. You have an inverter on and off switch right there. There's no batteries on this unit right now, I believe, so it's probably not going to be reading anything. We got a little storage compartment here. Come around the side. You've got your equalizer leveling system. So to power it on, press the power key. It's going to light up. To raise the front, hit up. To lower the front, hit down. So that's how you'd line this front thing up, to line your truck up and get it parked onto there. And then when you get to the campsite, let's say, you're going to come to this panel and press auto level once you're off the truck, and that's going to run all these jacks down and level the unit out all by itself. And then when you're ready to leave again, you can run the rear up by using this rear key that runs every single jack that's in the back. It just doesn't do the front ones, so run those ones all the way up. That way you can bring your truck back here and then adjust that front end again with this switch, bringing those jacks up or down. And you get back onto that truck, close all the slides up and everything already, and then press all retract, and it runs all the jacks all the way up, so you're ready to pull away. I'll just power it down. We can go over that with you again on pickup day, because some people like to see it in person. Usually makes more sense that way, because you can actually see what's happening. But as we go in here, these are your propane tanks. Left is open, right's closed. Whatever way this tab here is facing is what tank you're going to be reading from. This little red spot here is going to turn clear if there's gas present in the line. So if you have this tank open per se, and this were to turn red, then you know that that tank's empty. So and then in here is that big pass-through storage area. There's a lot of places to put stuff in there. And then this other door here is going to be the water bay. So looks a little scary, but it's not very complicated. Essentially, what you're going to do is, if you're staying on a campsite that has a spigot on the site, so water hookup's there for you, you're going to hook your hose to that spigot, bring it into this bay here, and you're going to plug into this connection right here. Pop that on, twist your hose into there, tighten it down. Once that is on nice and tight, you're going to turn to normal flow. Make sure winterize is off. I'm not going to turn these dials right now because the unit is winterized currently, so if I turn them, antifreeze is going to go to places that I don't want it to. So we're just going to not turn anything right now, but just pretend I am. So we're going to turn it to normal flow, turn the water on, and that's going to run water directly to all of the faucets inside. So yeah, I mean, depends on the pressure that you're getting from your spigot. That would theoretically be over here, but usually campgrounds are pushing high pressure, so it is good to get a pressure regulator for the end of your hose, because whatever pressure you get out here is whatever pressure you're going to get inside, and you don't want to blow your lines out if that pressure is really high. But yeah, as soon as you have water hooked into there, turned on, runs water to all the runs water to all of the taps inside, sinks, showers, toilets, and it also runs water to the water heater, which is right here. And before you turn your water on, you got to make sure that you have put in your anode rod, which is right here. That slides in right down here, and it tightens on there with a 1 1/16 socket wrench. Once it's on nice and tight, then you're good to run water, because when you start running the water, it runs to the water heater. So this would start filling up, but if you didn't have the anode rod in, it would just start pouring out of the side here. So make sure you put that anode rod in first. Once it's in there nice and tight, run your water. This is going to start to fill up. Once it's full, water is going to be coming out of the hot side of your sink. But while it's filling, I like to just leave the hot tap open on my kitchen sink. That way any air pressure that builds up in this as it fills is released out of that faucet. And that way you know once water's coming out of there in a smooth stream that this is full and ready to be turned on. This also fills from pumping water from your fresh tank. And to fill your fresh tank up, you use the same connection right here, but you're going to turn this dial here to fill. You can turn that to fill and then turn your water on, and that's going to shoot water into the fresh tank and start to fill it up. You can watch how full it's getting from your monitor inside. It's going to be showing you those tank levels. Once it's full, shut the water off, and then you turn it back to normal flow and turn the pump on, and it's going to start pumping from that fresh tank to your faucets as well as the water heater. So again, make sure the anode rod's in there. Fill it up, let in the air pressure off, let the air pressure out of this tank here, and then you can go ahead and turn it on. Both those switches to turn it on are going to be inside. I'll show you those later on. We have winterizing and everything in here. I'm going to go over that at the end. Outside showers right here. You plug that hose into there. You can rinse things off in here or outside. This is a black tank flush. Your black tank's a holding tank for your toilet. So when you plug your hose into here and turn the water on, that's going to help rinse that tank out. To drain the tanks, you pull these levers out. That opens the valves, and then it drains out of your sewer exit right here. See if we have any other poles tucked up under the frame. Doesn't look like it. But yeah, that's all going to drain out right here. I do like to drain my black tank first. That way when I drain my grays, it helps to rinse my sewer hose out. But you do have that black tank flush. That's really useful. And then you got cable and satellite hookups on top if you're staying somewhere that offered that. Tires are going to be filled, lug nuts are going to be checked for you, so you'll be ready for the road when you pick up. See if we got anything tucked underneath this slide. Doesn't appear to be so, but here in the back, see this blue hose sticking out? That's actually your fresh tank drain. So when you're draining out the fresh tank, just open that up and that's going to shoot that water straight onto the floor here. So make sure that you close that if you're going to be filling it up. You have the tank vent right here, so if you were to forget to turn the water off, water's going to start spilling over here. So that's how you know you got to go turn that water off quick, because you don't want to overflow that tank. Right here is your 50 amp power supply. That's where that plugs in. Just line the metal up piece with your cord to the metal piece on the outlet, and you should get it first try every time. It's a little twist lock, and then you twist that little collar on top of it to tighten it on there. You have the ladder right here. This does lift up, kind of tucks up underneath, up against the unit. So for travel, make sure it's pushed up. You have the pins locked in, otherwise leave it out. 250 pound capacity on the ladder. And there is a backup camera prep area up there. If you want to add a backup camera, speak to your salesman about that. They can get that added on for you. Looking down here, not seeing anything else. Furnace exhaust is right here. This does get hot if you're running the furnace. So if you are running the furnace, make sure you don't have your door blocking that exhaust. Obviously, you might end up burning your door, and then plugging this up, it can cause fires. So make sure that that is not blocked off if you're running the furnace, and make sure you don't touch it either. 2 outlets there. And then that other side of the pass-through. And then those are where the batteries are stored. You can get 1 battery, you can get 2. Talk to your salesman if you want to add a second one on. It's part of our convenience package. You have the Zamp solar plug-in here if you want to add the Zamp solar kit to have an extra solar panel out here on the side to charge those batteries. That little black circle up top is your outside speakers. You can change those from your radio if you want them to play outside. But with all of that said, for now, I believe that's all on the outside until we go over winterizing at the end. So let's just take a look at the stairs quickly. These fold right up into the door frame here. You just want to make sure that when you are setting the leg height by pulling these pins out down here, that you can adjust the leg height up or down depending on the terrain. you just want to make sure that your black metal here is flush with the silver metal here. So right now, for example, this is probably a little too high because I can stick my finger under there. But what you got to look out for is when you close your door, if you leave this too high, this black metal here can strike your stairs and bends the door. Luckily for us, it is still just low enough that the door will close. But yeah, always make sure that it is nice and flush here and here if you don't want to have any issues. As we walk in, right up here is your panel with all your stuff on it. So we take a look at this. You've got a couple light switches here. Then you have your water heater switches here to turn the water heater on. It is gas and electric, so if you were staying somewhere and you were plugged in, I'd just use the electric one. Save yourself some propane. If you're not plugged in, then I'd use the gas one. Once your water heater is full, you're good to turn it on. So you just flip this switch for the gas, make sure your gas supply is open. 10 to 15 minutes, you're gonna have hot water. You have your electric switch here, flip that, 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have hot water as well. So if you're gonna be using a gas one, I would shut that off when you're done using it because you don't need to leave that on. You're just gonna be burning propane for no reason. I just turn it on 10 to 15 minutes before you think you're gonna need hot water. So let's say you're taking a shower or gonna be washing some dishes. Make sure you turn that on 15 minutes beforehand so that it's gonna be warm for you. Then you have your slide out switches here, in and out. So you just hold that and that's gonna bring them in, and then hold out to bring it out. It's pretty simple. So slide out one here if I were to hold in. I don't know which one this is. They're hydraulic, so it takes a little while. Looks like it's gonna be the kitchen. Let's get a little caught on top there. And that's all the way in. And slide two. Looks like it's gonna be our dinette area. Sliding in. And that's all the way in. And then we got the bed slide, which is up here. And that one's just electric, so. Once this one's all the way in, it's just gonna stop moving. That's how you know to let go of that button. And that's all the way in. So that's kind of what it's gonna look like with all the slides in. Not much space to work with back there. So make sure every time before you run your slide outs in that there's nothing in the way. You don't want to crush it, but we'll run them back out. And then just the bedroom left. All right, below those slide out switches, you have your awning switches. So you have two awnings on this. One is the main awning, and the second one is the awning that sits on top of this slide out here. So if I were to hold out, same deal as the slide outs. See, this awning is going to begin to move. I don't have a ton of space to work with out here because I don't want to run into this pole, but hopefully I can explain it with it not all the way out. But once it is all the way out, the black flap at the end of the awning is going to be facing straight down. That's how you know to let go of that button. That button, if you go over that, kind of rolls over itself, and then you can have a little valley at the top. Water will pool up there, and that stretches your canvas out. You don't want that. So make sure that you stop when that black valance is facing straight down. Then once you've done that, you can pitch the awning by pressing these tabs in, and then you'd slide this arm down. That's gonna pitch the awning this way so that the water would run off the back. That way no water pools up on top and stretch that canvas out. You don't want that canvas to stretch, because then when you roll it back in, it doesn't roll up very nicely. Same exact awning on the slide out. So same explanation for that one. This switch here is your ceiling fan. And then down here is your thermostat. So to turn it on, slide to the setting you want to use. You have cool, fan, and heat. So if we slide to cool, set the fan speed, set the temperature. Really simple. Just the fan, turn it off, set the furnace. That's down below me. When you're using the furnace, put the fan on auto. Otherwise, the AC fans will kick on and it's just loud for no reason. So just put it on auto when you're using your furnace. Yeah, temperature sliders right there, so really easy. Your furnace goes through a cool down cycle, so when I turn it to off, it doesn't shut off right away. It takes about 5 minutes for that to cool off, even though I just started it anyways. And the last switch up here is the water pump. So press the switch there, turns the pump on, so you draw water from the fresh tank to pump to the faucets. And you have your tank levels on the top. Fresh tank battery level always reads full when the unit's plugged in, so if you want an accurate reading of your batteries, unplug the unit. You have black tank, gray tanks. On this unit, there is only one black tank. There says there's two on here, but it's because this panel is used in every Avalanche unit. Some of them have 2 black tanks. Yours does not, though. Fan on right here. That turns on the kitchen fan right up there. And then raise and lower to open up the vent on the top. Just press raise. Super easy. Walk back here now. Your fire extinguisher is going to go there. We put those in after you purchase. Just a tip, make sure you don't step full weight of your foot onto your floor vents, because they can bend on you. And furnace heat does come out of the floor vents. AC comes out of these ceiling vents. Got your dinette here. It does extend out. Just pick up here, and then you can slide that extra leaf out. Give yourself some more space. Make sure that the chairs are strapped down for travel. I like to get chair covers, because otherwise the corners sometimes get banged up on each other and the finish kind of peels off. So I like to get covers for those. Little storage in between. And you have heat, massage, and a little light to brighten up the base of the couch. Looks like we're not plugged in, so. But anyways, to recline the chairs, pull up here. That's going to put them into the recline position. And I like to just kick them down. You have wireless chargers right here and right here. This couch does fold out into a bed. Just take the back cushions off, set them aside. And then you pick it up from here, fold it down, and then you flop these legs out. And then once you're done that, this this back piece flops down like that. And then you got it into the bed position. So, pretty easy. We got the fireplace right here. Fireplace is electric, so if you want to save some propane and heat this place up, I'd use the fireplace. Half hour, 45 minutes. It'll be nice and warm in here. So you got the power on switches right here. Heat right there to turn the heat on. Temperature up and down right there. You have different colors as well. You can set a timer for up to 8 hours if you want this to shut off after a certain amount of time. And you got the radio here. You can change that to Bluetooth if you want to play your own music. You can also change it to play the audio from the TV. And then you use your zones to change where that audio is coming from. So you have those outside speakers that I mentioned earlier, so you can turn those zones on. Microwave, pretty self-explanatory. You got your burners. Make sure that this glass is folded down for travel. You don't want it to slam and shatter on you. This is your igniter here. So that sends spark to all 3 burners at the same time, as well as the oven. So to light these, press in, turn to the left, spark to the right, and that would light that back burner. These 3 are the burners, and this last one's the oven. To light the oven, a little different, be push in, turn to the left to this flame marker here, and then hold that in, keep pushing it in, and then spark with the right, and you'll see it light down here. Once it comes on, then you could open this up to whatever temperature you wanted. Up is the panel light, and the middle is off, and down is the panel and the oven light. Again, always make sure that this glass is folded down. We got your fridge here. We'll learn more about the fridge. Consult your manual. Really nice residential fridge. So manuals are all going to be in this blue bag here. Appliance manuals, the owner's manual, all that good stuff if you want to do some fun reading. Then you got your remotes right here, fireplace, radio, TV. And your keys are going to be on your sink right here. These purple keys are going to be for the main door, and then the gray key will unlock the compartment doors, and then the silver key and well, more of a gold key, I guess. The gold key will do the equalizer leveling system plastic door. So we'll go, actually, there it is. So if we open that door up, breakers, fuses are all stored in here. So make sure you take extra fuses with you just in case. It is good to have extras on hand. If something were to go out, obviously you're going to want to be able to replace that fuse. So you don't want to be without the power to your water pump or lights or something fun or important like that. So just make sure you got extras on hand, but everything is labeled for you so you know what each one does. We walk up here. Got your toilet pedal flush, so press down on the pedal there and that'll flush the toilet. GFCI's right here. Looks like we were tripped, and that's why those chairs weren't working earlier, so I just pressed reset. That's how you reset the outlets if they were to trip. And once you've done so, we can go back down there and those chairs will be working. So we lift up here. That's the shower latch. Make sure your shower doors are latched for travel. You don't want those to slam around and shatter on you. Got the bed. This does lift up, and you got a little bit of storage underneath. And then in here, a little closet. And then this picks up, you got a little bit of storage underneath it there. Area to put a TV here. Just make sure if you're mounting a TV, put it only where the sticker says so. That's usually where the stud's located. Lights, dimmers, really simple stuff. Carbon monoxide and LP gas detectors located down here on your island. That does draw power from your batteries when your unit isn't plugged in. It's hardwired for safety regulations. So if you don't want the battery to die, I would suggest to take off the negative end of the battery while it's just sitting in your driveway. If you're going to be putting this in winter storage, I would take the batteries out entirely, put them somewhere warmer like a shed or a garage, or you can always put them on a trickle charger to make sure that they don't die on you over the winter. But with all that said, that should be everything for the inside. So we can head back out and go over the winterizing process. Winterizing on this unit is not terribly difficult. You probably need 5 to 10 gallons of antifreeze to do it a good thorough job. So you'll come out here, back to your water bay, and you're going to first put your water heater on bypass by twisting this little switch here. So you would turn this to on, which it is right now. So water heater is bypassed currently. That's just going to cut any water supply off to the water heater because you can't put antifreeze in the water heater. So that's why you would do that. Once you've done that, go ahead, make sure that all your water's shut off, no water pumps on, no water's coming in through the city connection. Make sure it's all shut off. Let the pressure off with this pressure release valve right here, and then take the anode rod out with a 1 1/16 socket. It's just going to spill over the side here. If you want to drain it faster, you can just flip this into the open position like that. That helps the tank to drain out faster. But anyways, make sure that's drained out. Drain your fresh tank in the back, drain your black and drain your gray tanks as well. And then come here, put winterized mode on. Having that on changes where the water pump draws from. So that's going to, instead of drawing from the fresh tank, it's going to be drawing from your winterizing connection right here. So you take this off, hook a hose into there, and then run it into your jug of antifreeze and turn the water pump on. It's going to start drawing water, and that water is going to start drawing antifreeze from your jug of antifreeze and start pumping it to the faucets. So go tap to tap, opening up the hot and the cold side and running it until it's completely pink coming out of the faucet. Make sure you get plenty of antifreeze down the drain. Do that at every faucet, every tap, toilet, shower, sink, all of that. So it's completely pink coming out of there. No water, no air gaps either. Make sure it's completely solid stream. Once you've done so, gotten plenty down the drains, come out here to the low point drains right here. Pick it up, and that will open up the drains. It's going to start shooting antifreeze out the bottom here. Once it's completely pink coming out of the bottom here, that's how you know you got antifreeze through the entirety of the system. So make sure you do that on the hot and the cold line. So it's completely pink. Once you've done so, and it's a solid stream of pink, that's how you know you got antifreeze through the whole thing. So you're all set after that. Close those off. Turn your pump out. Turn your pump off. Take out your hose and your antifreeze. Close everything up, and you're ready for the winter. Again, just make sure the black, gray, and fresh tanks are empty, as well as the water heater tank, and you should be all set. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Obviously, if it didn't, please bring questions with you to your pickup date. We love to get those answered for you. We don't want you leaving here with a bunch of questions on how something works. But anyways, thank you for watching. Again, bring questions with you. I sometimes forget to go over something, and love to go over it with you in person. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.